Hi, my name is Rob Collins, and I'm the account executive for Royal Caribbean since 2010. Royal Caribbean is the second largest cruise line in the industry. They tout three of the largest ships, one of them being delivered next month. The good news is those large three ships are all using Cisco wireless LAN 5 gigahertz. The bad news is the balance of their fleet, roughly 38, are using the competition at 2.4 gig. My goal is to position a next generation wireless network that can provide a digitally enabled guest experience superior to everyone. So, my audience for this session will be the Senior VP of Port Services, Mike Jones, the VP of IT Infrastructure for the ship, Max Schmidt, the Transformational Leader for New Builds, Edith Weber, and the Senior VP of Onboard Revenue, Steve Rosato. Wish me luck.
Welcome to the Shark Tank.
Hello, Mike, Max, Edith, and Steve. Thank you for your time today. I'm here to tell you that digitization is changing the way that hospitality must do business. Your guests are tech savvy and expect the highest level of personal service when they book a cruise on any of the Royal Caribbean brands. I'm here to illustrate how Cisco can digitally engage your guests to provide operational efficiencies, increase your onboard revenue, and deliver a superior guest experience, leveraging many of today's investments. Only Cisco has the DNA to transform your business with our digital network architecture. So who's in?
Here's what I really want to understand. How did you come up with it?
So you'd like to hear a little bit more about the offer? Glad to share. So it all started about 20 months ago when I was listening to your company's quarterly financial update. Your chairman, Richard Fain, first announced the Double Double program, which is your commitment to the street that by 2017, you're going to provide double-digit growth on your return on investment capital and double your earnings per share. It was at this same time that our internal board of directors realized that we needed to evolve from a network provider to a partner in building transformational business outcomes. We immediately went into discovery mode. Through a collection of day-to-day conversations with business and IT leaders and messaging to the outside community, we began to identify true business needs and technology challenges. Some of those that floated highest to the top was to provide a secure and digitally engaged experience. Also, to continually increase onboard revenue. As you know, capacity is a problem in this industry. There's only so many builds that you can do a year because there's only so many yards to build these ships. So any way to capture more revenue has to come with onboard revenue. And lastly, we've got from an operational efficiency, how to get more predictive, proactive actions so you, your crew, and your guests can all have a much better experience.
Okay, you seem to know our business priorities well, so nice job reading out our 10Ks. But what do you know about our abilities to execute against them, specifically in IT?
That's a great question. We all know the challenge that Double Double has done to your budgets. Do more with less resources and money, and don't be late. Over the past 12 months, the team has been working very closely with key stakeholders in the database warehousing group, IT, and security through a series of workshops, on-site executive briefings, and lunch and learns. We discovered the same themes from the business units. Simplify operations. As an example, on the ship, you've got 3 networks running, one for wireless, one for microcell technology, and one for your deck phones. How can we make that simpler? From a harvesting information from silos, it's all about getting information in a timely fashion. We understand through discovery that it takes weeks to get the information from the ship back into the warehouse so you can start culling it and figuring out what's going on. We need to do better there. And lastly, increasing customer satisfaction and onboard revenue spend by making the wireless network and mobility ubiquitous, trusting, and most importantly, secure. And that's done through segmentation.
Damn, that's good.
Very interesting. Those are the major drivers we ran into with our previous IT leaders. Rob, I'm intrigued but not overly impressed. Being the VP of Onboard Revenue for RCCL, what outcomes can you share on increasing the guest experience and improving on onboard revenue spend?
How do you guys talk without moving your lips? Here's an example of a guest journey put together by one of our business transformation practice leaders, Jamie Lacey. Many of you met Jamie over the past 6 months during our discovery sessions. Even though the video highlights a hotel, I'm sure you'll recognize the use cases for simplifying the check-in process, converting new guests to the loyalty program, and providing personal services with access to the concierge, restaurant reservations, wayfinding, spa appointments, and booking entertainment. Bon appetit!
It all begins with automatic and highly secure guest recognition.
Glad to be back.
And it only gets better from there with features for returning guests like automatic check-in and using your mobile device as your room key. New guests are recognized and invited to download the hotel's loyalty app, beginning their conversion into a high-value loyal guest.
Sweet.
Cisco is transforming the guest experience. They can use their mobile devices to personalize their stay, enjoying the services that they choose. Text the concierge. Make a spa appointment or reservations for dinner. Select a movie from your personal streaming account. Find their way around the hotel. For guests, it all fits into their comfortable digital world, making their stay easier and making them feel, well, more pampered.
Cheers.
Well, Steve, what do you think?
That was powerful.
Damn, that's good.
Rob, with my added role as VP of Port Services, it's all about operational efficiencies. What can you show me on this?
Wow, looks like the title dropping is spreading. But it's a good question. So let me talk a little bit about what we have as far as solutions from a business and operations standpoint for the ship. Imagine harnessing the power of guest patterns and flows to allow predictive staffing, or providing analytic location awareness to push promotions to guests based on their past. Or how about tracking trends across the fleet or within the ship to make a better guest experience? Let's go take a look.
For hotel owners, managers, and staff, the Cisco solution is a game changer. Now associates can understand what guests are doing while they're on the property. With real-time analytics, associates can track guest patterns and flow and adjust staffing levels accordingly. Now that's cool. Analytics include location awareness, which can be used to push promotions and specials out to guests based on their location and past preferences, which makes the marketing opportunities unlimited. There's no better way to keep customers on the property and increase the time they spend in restaurants and bars. Beyond real-time, historical data and analytics can also help managers make decisions about the brand and property for the future. What trends can they see? Which services are popular? It all adds up to a better bottom line. That's right. Cisco can transform your Wi-Fi infrastructure from a cost center to a revenue generator. Simply put, behind the technology, it's the human experience that counts.
That was easy.
Because when you make it easy, make it personal, and make it fun, guests will be loyal, and they'll come back time and time again.
Product. Wow. I look at it and say, look, you may have built a better mousetrap.
I have a little Missouri in me. Marketing clips are nice, but what analytics can you show me about today's passengers? Good question.
So now I'd like to show you what the analytics behind some of these solutions are, and specifically with the connected mobile experience solution that we have. Right here is the first high-level screen that you have on the CMX platform. It's GUI-based. It can be accessed anywhere in the network, and you basically get in through a password, so you can decide who gets access, what that access is. Is it just to view, or is it to edit and make changes as well as viewing? And right here, what you have is a high-level view of the world. This demo has been set up with a retail chain spin on it, but this certainly could be customized to the brand of the ship, like Celebrity or Royal Caribbean. And instead of stores or sites, these could be the individual ship names, and instead of floors, it could be easily be changed to decks. So again, let's go ahead and take a look at what a deck would look like. So right here we have a typical deck layout, and imagine this being the promenade section, and what you have is APs and heat maps based on activity around those APs. I'm adding in zones. Zones can be a way of sort of providing fencing that you can track information in and out of those fenced areas, and we're portraying this as being a bunch of stores, but it could be coffee shops, casinos, and other areas. We're also showing up top how we're doing a playback of this information, so you can actually see over time what happens during the traffic patterns at that deck.
Damn, that's good.
So now let's go to another area. Again, these are canned reports. You can customize them any way you want, but here you're presented with the number of visitors that have visited this deck in this area, and you can break it down per hour, and you can see the exact number that made up that 31,000. In the middle, you can see a breakdown of dwell times based on unrestricted versus restricted. So the restricted would be the crew, the unrestricted would be access to the general public and passengers. And you can actually track the dwell times, which is really important to see just exactly where they are. Here you can also see how many, what percentage of those are associated with that part of the network. So you can see how many have opted in versus how we're just either passing by or beaconing along the way.
Damn, that's good.
Now here's a real interesting screen. As you can see here, we have a screen based on the experienced behavior. On your left, you can see at this specific site the number of venues that are there and what the percentage of traffic is at that site. So first off, you realize it doesn't equal 100 because there's a chance that they will go to multiple stores, but this breaks it down over the 3,000 visits, what percentage of those visits happen at each one of these stores, which is really important to get an idea of traffic shaping.
Product. Wow. Wow. I'm not.
In the middle here, you can actually see where the path of traffic went. So as you went from, say, groceries to furniture, you can actually see the number of paths and what the traffic pattern was. This is super important to get an idea of what the traffic flows are, so you can maybe set up some spot promotions as people are going from a show maybe to the pool and don't want to miss the opportunity to get some promotion thrown at them as far as the spa that they're walking by. This other section here on the right talks about dwell times based on each one of these zones. So here you can see just who visited and for how long across each one of these zones. And again, you can look at this at that day or go back in time and see a cumulative view of things.
That was powerful.
Well, Sharks, the use cases we are showing today are all active projects that Cisco and our partners are helping to deliver in the marketplace today. I suggest we set up a deeper discovery workshop with my BTX and Advanced Services team and your key stakeholders, including the crew and guests. This will create a greater guest experience. And by the way, if we start now, we can target that next new build. How does that sound?
If everything that you told me is so, I'm good.
Wow. Okay, well, just before, let's get some things on the table here first. So what is the technology?
Well, that's a very good question. Everything we discussed today center around three technologies: next generation wireless LANs, connected mobile experience, CMX, and identity service engines, ICE. It all starts with the next generation WAN solutions, which, by the way, you have on your three largest ships. Our plan will consolidate three wireless networks, your Wi-Fi, crew deck phones, and Seaboard cellular service, onto one wireless LAN to simplify operations and costs. This will also allow you a higher revenue sharing with your carrier partner who currently charges you for their onboard network.
Wow.
Segmentation and compliance for your passengers and guests is provided by ICE. And the last ingredient is the CMX, the software-based solution that we highlighted in many of our videos today.
Perfect.
So, what are the next steps? Well, here's what I suggest. Since your last Versa-class ship introduced too many new technologies from other vendors, and eventually a new CIO, let's mark this down as a teachable moment and develop a plan to roll out these technologies over a few key projects that are on the horizon. I suggest we start with the headquarters refresh that we're working with your team on. We can build a quote with Cisco One to capture wireless LAN, connected mobile experience licenses, and identity service licenses to all digitally enable your guest. This would be a great proof point for your new build teams, the facilities, HR, and all the other folks that live in that building as of what's possible, including the presidents of the brands. As a follow-up, let's target the next refresh, Adventure of the Seas. Our AS team can help design, install, and optimize this solution. And instead of relying on a snapshot of your RF coverage, which is setting you back about $100,000, let's leverage wireless assurance, which provides real-time views of the wireless LAN. So when a guest questions connectivity, you have a real-time reference point, instead of a snapshot in time that could be months or even years old. And lastly, let's take another swing at Cisco Capital. It's been about a year since we talked about it, and there's a lot of exciting new programs out there that we can leverage. So, who's in?
Wow. Look, I think it's a very interesting idea. I love ideas that are born out of necessity.
Get juicy.
Right? Kevin and I have thought for sure. Robert, I don't think we'd have a problem if the three of us went in together.
Oh, I'm in.
That's
Mark, Kevin, and myself.
Sharks, we have a deal. Now let's go build that next generation guest experience.
Let's do it.
Congratulations.
Going back to the Berg.
Yeah. Good job.
Congratulations, Mike.
Yeah,
That's
you really know your stuff.
Thanks.
Yeah, very impressive.
Very interesting.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone. Very interesting.
Wow.
That was so good. I'd never do this if I didn't like your product.
Thank